Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayana. Hari Om and good evening from Pittsburgh. Two words that are famous in Vedanta, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I'm sure that you too have heard these before, are yoga and kshema. Yoga is to procure what you don't have, and kshema is to protect what you do have. Now, whenever we think of yoga and kshema, we tend to think of that which is material. Yoga is to have a certain job, and kshema is to preserve, to protect that job. Pujya Swami Tejomayananda shares in Narada Bhakti Sutras that Bhagwan's yoga is not to be taken at a material level, but that yoga is to be taken at a level of Shri. Shri here means virtues. That Bhagwan is the one who graces us with virtues, and kshema is to ensure that we practice those virtues. I can be virtuous for a short period of time when it comes to, say, the discipline of getting up, the discipline of being patient with family members. But if I don't have the stamina, then I give up those disciplines. Yes, we've all started but then stopped. That's a much more meaningful yoga and kshema. And we need people like Pujya Swami Tejomayananda to share these insights with us because we just don't think like that. Our Bhagavad Gita course is like living with a rishi. A rishi is a seer. They can see into us what we can't see. They can see into life what we can't see. The more we understand and appreciate that we are living with a rishi, the more we will give of ourselves to this Bhagavad Gita course. Last week we studied in chapter 7 that nature, creation, is made up of apara prakriti. Apara means that which is causal, that which is caused. I'm just going to pause for a moment. Can you ask them, please, to... Thank you. I'll continue. So, apara prakriti is all that is causal, all that is caused. And para prakriti is that which makes whatever is causal and caused relevant. Para prakriti is you have all of this beautiful hardware and software, but there's a need for electricity. If you think of Halloween and you think of Frankenstein, apara prakriti is all of those body parts. And para prakriti is when they run that lightning through Frankenstein for him to get up, correct? If he doesn't get up, what's the use of Frankenstein? So Paraprakriti makes Aparaprakriti relevant, higher than Apara and Para. The highest we refer to as existence, to awareness. Existence awareness is not a cause. Existence awareness is not an effect. Existence awareness is. And I heard recently a beautiful interpretation of tanmatras. What are the tanmatras? Space and air and fire and water and earth. If you open up this word, it is actually tat matra. Tat means absolute. Matra means an expression of, or it's simply absolute. These elements are actually existence awareness. And if we have the intellect to see this, we will be like a rishi. But if we do not have the intellect to see this, we will think of she's created and I'm created and there's a different country, and we'll go on living this separation. Existence awareness is. All that we think we are experiencing is simply an expression of that existence awareness. We're trying to tune into that which is fundamental, that which is satya, the truth. Okay, we'll keep going into this. I'm now on section 7.7. When you're driving to work and a song you like comes on the radio, and in each song you like, there's a part of the song that you like more, isn't there? There's the chorus, there's the interlude, there's the jam session, and you look forward to that part of the song. Movies also. There's movies you like, but within the movies you like, there's parts that you like. What we're about to study, the way that we feel about music and movies, we should feel the same about this portion of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Because here in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna, he talks about being a bhakta. And he gives us a reference scale for us to know where we are and where we should go. Now, to introduce these different types of bhaktas, these reference points, I first have to share with all of you that Sanatana Dharma does not allow for atheists. Does not believe or allow for atheists. Now, why? To understand this, we first have to define what it is that we believe in or don't believe in. That theism is towards what? In Sanatana Dharma, we believe that the absolute, what we refer to as God, is existence, awareness, joy. Sat Chit Ananda. Can anyone deny their existence? Don't you have to exist to deny your existence? Can anyone deny their awareness? If you're denying your awareness, how do you know that you're denying your awareness? And most beautifully, isn't everyone pursuing joy? We may be joyous or not, but we're still pursuing joy, which means we believe in Ananda, which means that we're following Ananda. So we don't allow for atheists. And Bhagavan Krishna says that we are all bhaktas. That is not a poetic statement. This is the truth. We are all moving towards Bhagavan. Some of us are just good at it, and some of us are just bad at it. So the good and the bad. What is the difference between a searcher and a seeker? In English, they would be very much the same words. A searcher is looking for something, but they don't know where to look. So in Sanatana Dharma, we do not believe in atheists, that everyone is searching for Ananda, but a searcher doesn't know where this is. So some of them think it's in Bangkok. Some of them think it's in the new Lexus. Some of people think it's in when you dye your hair. So they're searchers. A seeker knows where what they're looking for is, they just haven't found it. They know where it is, but they haven't found it. They haven't experienced this. A seeker is someone who knows that their nature is Ananda. So they're looking within. They just have to finally hold it. It's like losing an earring in the bathroom. You know that it's in the bathroom. You just have to find it, correct? But if you didn't lose it in the bathroom, it could be anywhere in your house. It could be on the street. Then you're a searcher, not a seeker. Bhagavan Krishna says that the fourth type of bhakta, the fourth type of devotee, and I'm hesitating to say lowest because it may make us feel bad. So I'm just going to use the fourth, is someone who's known as a artha bhakta. Artha bhakta. Artha is someone who is experiencing sorrow. Someone who's experiencing sankata. And they remember Bhagavan. They move towards Bhagavan to free themselves of that sorrow, of that sankata. What is their understanding of God? That God is powerful. That this difficulty I'm experiencing, the mayor can't help me. And my friend can't help me, but God is powerful. God can help me. It's like kids who think that their parents are the strongest. My parents can beat up your parents. Right? That kid would think that if they're feeling physical harm. Artha. Okay? As these reference points go on, please do not use these reference points to judge the people sitting next to you. The person sitting in front of you. We're so used to that, isn't it? We're always looking for scales to use against others. When you're driving and that weird symbol comes on your dashboard, that's your problem with your car. It has nothing to do with my car. It's not on my dashboard. And you're thinking, what symbol is it? Is it? It means you have low tire pressure. That's a symbol we don't understand the most. The third type of bhakta, the third type of devotee, is known as artharthi. Artha, arthi. For this person, this arthi, they're looking for meaning. And what are they trying to find meaning in? Artha. Artha here means success. So they're not experiencing sorrow, but they're trying to experience success. Pleasure, possession, position. Artha, arthi. Artha, arthi. And for them, their understanding of God is not that God is just powerful, but God is beneficial. Right? If I become close to God, then I'll become very popular. It's like being a security guard for a celebrity. You get to be in the pictures too, right? So God is beneficial. But that's it. Nothing more than that. Artha, arthi. The second type of devotee is known as a jignasu. A jignasu is someone who is being responsible. They remember, they move towards Bhagavan because of Bhagavan's sake. Because they know that this is the only purpose of living, is to connect with the Creator. They're being dharmic. And their understanding of God is meaningful. So not powerful only, not beneficial only, but God is meaningful. That person already has gone through adversity, has gone through prosperity, but they still know that there's more than just adversity and prosperity. And the number one type of devotee, this is like the Tonight Show's in top 10. Number 1, and there's a drum roll. And don't worry, it's none of us, so we can just study this intellectually. Number 1 is a jnani. A jnani is someone who knows Bhagavan, is someone who is one with Bhagavan, is someone who is experiencing being relieved. Being relieved. And I'm carefully using that word because even when all is smooth outside, many of us still feel uncomfortable, right? And for someone who's a jnani, they're relieved even of that discomfort. For such a person, God is not powerful, beneficial, meaningful. God is full. Period. God is ananda. God is completion. That is the purpose of living, is to be in that attunement with the Creator. So who are you? Are you the artha, the artha-arthi? Are you the jignasu? Are you the jnani? I think I'm the jnani. So now I'll give you some more clarity on all of this. There's a wonderful commentator on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. His name is Madhusudana Saraswati. And he gives specific scriptural personalities to each of these bhaktas. Okay? So we start with a person who's in adversity, and they remember Bhagavan. And the example he gives is Draupadi. When Draupadi is being disrobed, and she finally puts her hands up. First she went to Yudhishthira, she went to Bhima, she went to Bhishma, she went to Dhritarashtra, and finally, in that adversity, she puts her hands up and says, Hey Krishna. And when she remembered Bhagavan, then Bhagavan started manifesting as Vastra, Draupadi. We go to Artharthi, the person who remembers Bhagavan not just in adversity but also in prosperity. And the character given here is Sugriva. Even after Sugriva became the king of the monkeys, he still helped Bhagavan Rama, even though he was in prosperity. There was a delay there. He was quite forgetful, but finally he did help Bhagavan Rama. Sugriva. The second type of bhakta, the jignasu, is Raja Janaka. Raja Janaka loved knowing about Bhagavan. When Rishi Vishwamitra brings him to Mithila, he comes out of his kingdom. He's in the suburbs of the kingdom. And he just keeps looking at Bhagavan Rama, looking at Sri Lakshmana, and he says to Rishi Vishwamitra, he says, my mind and eyes only go towards Brahman. Is this Brahman in front of me? Jignasu. And you know the reference point for the jnani? Prahlad. Bhakta Prahlad, also known as Jnani Prahlad. When his father Hiranyakashipu says, is your Narayana in this pillar? He knows that Bhagavan Narayana is in the pillar, is outside of the pillar. He doesn't even have faith in that. He knows that. Jnani. So which of these 4 personalities do you identify with the most? Do you want some more scriptural references to make sure this is totally clear? Okay. Now this is coming from Puja Swami Tejamayana. He says that wherever we are on this scale, we can evolve through this scale. Okay, I can start as one bhakta and go to the next level of bhakti. So he references Gajendra, the elephant king. Gajendra goes into his challenge as someone who's an artha bhakta, correct? That crocodile is pulling him into the water. And finally he's able to be that jnani, that he goes into oneness with Bhagavan. So from the bottom to the top. Guruji gives the example of Dhruva. Dhruva went in as someone who was a artharthi bhakta. He wanted to be the king. And then he also went to being a jnani. When Bhagavan says, what do you want? He doesn't say anything. Just mauna. He's feeling Bhagwan. We have Arjuna as the Jignasu. Arjuna's already the king, the prince. There's no adversity, no prosperity. Finally, he just wants to know, who is this Bhagwan Krishna? From my charioteer to my cousin to an intellectual god till he felt God. Jignasu, and Arjuna also became a jnani. And the fourth, Bhagwan says, is Narada. Narada Muni. Narada Muni, what are the only words that come out of his mouth? Narayana, Narayana. He doesn't go walk around saying Narada, Narada like we do, correct? We keep saying our own name. He just keeps on saying Narayana. He's perpetually dancing. We only dance like nobody's watching us. Everybody's watching Narada and he still dances. Jnani. What a lovely part of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. How loving Bhagwan Krishna is to show us this is where our health is, this is where our health should be. Shows us that this is the end, so adopt the means to reach those ends. Think hard about what kind of bhakta you are. Puja Swami Tejomayananda says that most of us are artha. We just go from sorrow to sorrow to sorrow. A few of us are artharthi, even fewer of us are jignasus. And then you have that 1 in a million who's a jnani. And so again, we occupy 175 million people within North America. And I think there's some people in India also, but that's a pretty small ratio for how many people live there. Fascinating that we're studying a chapter called Vijnana, where the first word that Bhagwan introduces that is new, that is the essence of the chapter is Vijnana. But here Bhagwan's talking about bhakti. Because wisdom is being in love. Wisdom is expressing that love. Jnana is liking. I like Vedanta. I like to share Vedanta. Vijnana is I love this. To begin to love God, we first have to know God. You cannot love God unless you know God. And again, Madhusudana Saraswati says, when you know God is the best, then you know God knows the best. If you know God knows the best, you will not have any stress. You will have no fear, no regrets, no anxieties. That what happened, God knows the best. What will happen, God knows the best. But we have to know God is the best to have this love. And how we can come to know Bhagwan? To be steady. To be sincere. That steadiness leads to sincerity. But it begins with steadiness. Make this a priority. Employ Viveka. This steadiness, this sincerity is not quantifiable. So don't quantify it. We keep saying, when will I be enlightened? When will I go from artharthi to jignasu? 7 years, 70 years? Is there a catalyst? If someone touches me on the head, will this move faster? If I sit on a yantra, if there's a priest involved in New Jersey, will this happen more? You cannot quantify this, so don't quantify it. You have to unlearn space, time, matter. That's what's stopping us. Swami Tejomayananda uses the example of, what time do you wake up? Do you know what time it is when you wake up? When you've woken up, you don't know. In the moment that you wake up, you don't know. And then time kicks in. That I set my alarm for 6:44, but it must be like 7:15 because I press snooze twice. And the same goes with what time do you sleep? If you're sleeping, you don't know what time it is. It's beyond that. Beyond space, time, matter. It's not quantifiable, but this happens. To go from the dreamer to the waker, to go from the waker to the sleeper, it's immediate. Time is a matter of the mind, and if the mind is not there, then there's no time. But this knowledge this love, is immediate, beyond space-time matter. However, the preparation for the knowledge and love is mediate. We have to prepare for this knowledge. We have to prepare for love. If you just made it to class before this class was locked, right? You've just plopped yourself on some sort of seating area. Then how prepared are you for class right now? Class? I'm just secretly eating my meal from down here. Like people secretly text, I'm secretly eating my meal also. My camera's not working today, Vivekji. See, then what's being shared is not going to have an effect on us. But if we're prepared for class, I have my notes, my breathing is natural, and on and on and on, then that has much more of an effect. There is an importance given to preparing for knowledge, and in a relative way, we can call this preparation as yoga. What does yoga mean or look like in a relative way? What does it look like?
Becoming.
PB. Yesterday I was asking some people, what does PB for? This is exactly what I asked you, I asked them too. First response was peanut butter. So what is relative yoga? Peanut butter. Yes. How did you know that's what I was talking about?
Personal best.
Personal best. PB here means perpetual betterment. Yoga in a relative fashion is perpetual betterment. That who you are today, you are a better you tomorrow, and a better you tomorrow. If you follow perpetual betterment, you finally reach being the best. See that perpetual betterment is preparation for knowledge to be the best. As we engage in this perpetual betterment, I want to highlight again, not to quantify your perpetual betterment. Have you ever met someone who talks about the good thing that they did or the good things that they're doing? And the reason they're sharing that is because they've done bad things their whole life. So finally they did one good thing and they can count it. So they talk about it, correct? But if someone is engaging in dharma, doing good things all the time, they can't count doing that, right? And even if they could count, they wouldn't count it. So when it comes to your dharma, when it comes to your karma, again, to unlearn that idea that I've done this much, so I deserve this much, right? I've got to chapter 7 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. There's no need to continue, right? The main message was finished already. I deserve a break now. And how do we reward discipline? With indiscipline. That's very logical. For someone who's engaged in this perpetual betterment, which is preparation for knowledge, which leads to a love for Bhagwan, they are the jnanis. How does a jnani look at yoga and kshema? How does a jnani look at others? Bhagwan says, a jnani starts by seeing their self in all selves. They see themselves in the man across from them. They see themselves in a dog across from them. They see themselves in the tree that's beside them. They see themselves in the clothes they wear. They are seeing themselves in all selves. And that's why every mandir has the same phrase, the same logo. What is every mandir's logo? Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Yes. And our mandirs are one of the prime spots for politics, isn't it? The same place where there's supposed to be everyone a family, that's where maximum politics happens. I know mandirs and gurudwaras where the police are called on a weekly basis to stop the fist fights. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We are all Bhagwan's family. But a jnani, they do see all as their family. And a way to get to that, we may not be the jnani, but maybe we're the jignasus. When you look at another person, focus on their strength. strengths. When you focus on their strengths, you will relate much more to them than if you focus on their weaknesses. Okay? We can't jump to being a jnani, but we can get involved in that perpetual betterment. So I'd shared that a jnani begins by seeing themselves in all selves, but you know how a jnani ends? By seeing all selves in their self. Like a lucid dream. If you've ever had a lucid dream, you know you are dreaming and you know that all that you're experiencing is simply you. Because there's a chance when I see myself in all of you, I'm still giving reality to you, isn't it? There's still almost Vishishta Advaita. But this is completed by seeing all of you in me, which is much more towards Dvaita. This is what our health should be. To be a jnani, to be a jignasu. Where we are right now is artha, artharthi. Bhagavan Krishna says, people who worship the finite are finite-minded. They have no feeling towards the infinite, so they keep on worshipping the finite. They keep worshipping celebrities, they keep worshipping athletes, they keep worshipping those who are wealthy, those who are powerful. And Bhagavan says, all of these devatas, Indra, Vayu, Varuna, Agni, they all get their presence, their power from me. That Brahman is the presence and the power behind any devata. They are the means to finally an ends. And if you know that there are means, then you have the right relationship with them. But we keep forgetting that they're just the means and not the ends. That's aviveka. And what's fascinating about this is that every week we all chant otherwise. What part of Hanuman Chalisa shares that if you worship Hanumanji, you don't need to worship anyone else? Ora devata chittana darai. So every week, Hanumanji, if I just worship you, then, I don't have to worship anyone else but my boss. But my neighbor who keeps blocking my driveway. And on and on and on. We have to know Hanumanji, to love Hanumanji, to let go of stress and worry and fear. Oh.